like you just need a reminder of how amazing you are today. I know that's just the vibe I'm getting right now. Like, you just need that reminder that you're amazing. And I think we forget that a lot because everything is so conditional that we allowed ourselves to be programmed in by society, family, all these other things. I want to say you are amazing. You are a reflection of all that is God, Buddha, Krishna. There are so many different names, whatever your faith is. Like, you're just a reflection of that. And, you know, the universe doesn't make mistakes. And if you weren't necessary, you wouldn't be here. And I just want to say that you're an integral part. No matter what your limiting beliefs are, you're important, you're awesome, and just have fun with it, because, I'm just feeling lately like with the vibes I'm getting sometimes, it's just like people are just getting very overwhelmed with a lot of things. And I think that could be good. Now it's like, wait a minute, what do you mean it's good feeling overwhelmed? It's just like the reason why you're feeling overwhelmed is because you're discovering something is not working for you and it's getting louder and louder. Like, pay attention to me. It's kind of like when you have pains in your body and stuff like that. It's like something isn't working, something isn't working. Hello, hello. And what do you do a lot of times with the body? You take the pain medication, you don't feel it. The things are there, things get louder, but you don't feel it, so other things keep happening. And yeah, so if you feel like things are getting overwhelmed, I mean, something's not working. Maybe it's just your perception of everything, or maybe you just need to do something different. I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like there's just a lot of that right now, because like different people who like I'm engaged with, and it's just like, isn't that like interesting that everyone's feeling overwhelmed right now? And regardless of what you think of different politics or different things, like a lot of people just feel very overwhelmed. And it's just like, well, what are you going to do about it? And what happens to many people, including myself, is like you get in your head. Like, I've been thinking about, how am I going to do hydroponics in here? Like, maybe I should like grow some herbs, because it's like I love having fresh herbs, but I feel like when I buy them at the grocery store, like they don't last long. And I've seen tutorials of people trying to keep the herbs alive longer. I don't know what it is about me. I don't know. Herbs don't want to stay alive. Many plants don't want to stay alive at my place. I'm good with like low maintenance plants, like my steak plant, my money tree, my my like cacti succulent thing. They're okay. Oh yeah, no, my spider plant's doing okay. Yeah, I'm good with very hardy, resilient plants. But like when it comes to like herbs that I bought from the store, rather like I'm just buying herbs, culinary, or actually buying the plant, actually attempting to grow. I'm like looking up tutorials, like, oh, you have to separate them because if they stay together too long, they'll suffocate because all the roots are together and you need to separate the. And that's kind of why I kind of want to do hydroponics, because it's like, okay, maybe that'll do that. There's like just overwhelmed by like all the information. What should I do? What should I not do? And sometimes it's just like you have to just get in there and do it and just trial by error and figure it out. And I think there's just like this theme where it's just like, if I don't do it perfectly, I'm gonna waste money, I'm gonna waste time, and this is gonna be a nightmare at some point. And I'm just like, calm down. I mean, it's just some plants. And unfortunately, I've killed many plants, especially last year when we had a major heat wave and they all just kind of shriveled up. Like, I attempted to keep them alive and I was not very successful at that. And it's just like, okay, gonna try again. Because it's like, I felt bad because I spent all these money on the herbs. I got organic soil and I got all these pots and they all died. I'm just like, even the rosemary that's supposed to be like drought resistant, I hadn't this died. I'm just like, ah. And so, I think it's easy to feel overwhelmed, especially when you feel like you failed before. It's just like, okay, well, you know what doesn't work. And let's try something different, because obviously we don't want to do exactly the same thing, because we do exactly the same way, we're probably going to get the same thing. Or maybe that's a limiting belief in itself, or maybe conditions are different where if I were to do the same thing, it'll be okay this time. I don't know. And it's just like with hydroponics, they can be easy or you can make them complicated, and it's just like kind of what you want to do. Because my dream is to like have like a little hydroponic thing, and there was this one person, and like I saw the video and it was great, and I would love to be able to know how to design this, because there were no instructions. I think they're planning on making um, instructions. I don't remember the YouTube name because it is a little long, but it was just like, it was like a living wall like that they made, and they have all different plants. I'm like, I want a living wall of herbs. So, and maybe some lettuce and like some easy things that I can keep alive. I'm just like, I want a living wall, because like also it's like it's vertical, so it's not gonna take a lot of space, and it's like against a wall. Because I'm sure like there's some things there also to protect your walls, because you don't want your walls getting wet and stuff like that. And I'm just like, there has to be a way. And I'm like looking at what other people have done, like DIY things. It's like, oh, do I do it this way? Do I do it that way? What kind of substrates? And that it is. I'm just like, okay, I'm overwhelmed right now. Okay, like one step at a time. Maybe I just need to take it one step at a time, where it's just like, what do I want to grow? Let's make that decision first. Like, what specifically am I going to start with? And then when I think about that, okay, maybe I'll move on to the next steps. And I think, especially with the abundance of information that we have, especially like on YouTube, it's easy to deep dive and like jump in the rabbit hole. And I'm very guilty of doing that many, many times. And I got a notification, and 20% power left. Okay, so, but we still have enough to do this video. So, you know, I think it's just like, why am I allowing myself to like have this anxiety? And it's just like, I don't know. And it's like, and it's okay, I don't know. Maybe I need to sit with it for a little bit while. And that's okay, like, and like coming, and that can be, for me, it feels a little unsettling with trying to be okay with not being okay. And because like God, universe, all that is, there's unconditional love for you no matter what you do. And but we've put so many conditions on ourselves because it's a very ingrained learned behavior, and us trying to unlearn that is very, no, I don't want to say that, because if I say it's right, that's a limiting belief itself. It's just like we're just so used to that habit, and it's about making the choices to undo that. And that's one challenge I'm having with this. I'm sure some of you may be having similar things, where it's just like, just allow yourself to be okay with that you don't know everything. It's like, I'm not a professional gardener. I'm not trying to do so much hydroponics that I'm gonna feed my neighborhood and like have a business and like take over like the whole house with plants. It's like, I don't know, like sometimes depending on the type of person, it's like you need to look at the end goal or you just need to look at the goal like right in front of you. I think for me, I need to look at the goal right in front of me, because if I think too far ahead, I get overwhelmed. It's kind of like reverse engineering, where it's just like, okay, you look at the big goal and then you have to look at all the little steps. I get intimidated by looking at all the little steps. I don't know if that's just me, but just thinking about all the steps, like it's good if I'm like at a job where I'm just like, okay, this is what I have to do, da da da. But when it's myself, isn't that interesting? I think it's when it's myself, the responsibility is different compared to, I feel like there's less skin in the game, maybe. That's something I'll probably have to think about more off camera, because like I could kind of go on and on like this, but I want to also provide something that's like important to you all. Or I don't know, maybe, I don't know if y'all are finding my own process and me trying to figure stuff out as I'm talking about it works. But yeah, just for the consistency of like train of thought, being consistent, because I'm sure everybody likes ramblings at some point, but at some point we got to come back to the point, because otherwise it gets confusing and lost. But no matter what you're thinking, what you're planning, if you feel you can do it or you can't. Like, you are great. You're amazing. You can do it. It's just like, it really comes down to like, do you really want to do it? Is it really relevant for you? Like, I've had many things I wanted to do, but is it really relevant for me to do everything? No, it's like, I think I would love to be able to like learn to make shoes because it's like, I'm picky about shoes because I like feet shaped shoes because my feet, I want shoes that fit my feet pretty much. But do I really want to take the time and the money to learn to make my own shoes to have the shoes exactly I want? Probably not. Would I think it would be cool? Yes. Do I really want to invest that much money in learning to make shoes? No. The herb garden, I'm kind of on the fence a little bit because I don't feel like, yeah, passion, go, gotta get this done. But there's still an interest in it. And maybe it's just a timing thing. Maybe the reason why I'm not passionate about it, maybe the reason I'm allowing myself to feel overwhelmed by looking at all these YouTubes about hydroponics and like what solutions to get, like what ratios and da 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 da. Maybe the timing isn't right. And that's why I'm just getting overwhelmed. Oh, that's a good way of thinking it. Maybe it's just the timing isn't right. And that's okay. Like, because, like, do I really have the extra finances to do all this? To a degree. Would I rather be spending it on something else? Probably, yeah. And so, yeah, I don't want you to feel like you have to be hard on yourself. If there's a reason why you have to be hard on yourself, I would just suggest to look at it why. Because like I feel like when there's all this pressure, it's just icky. It's like there's like all this pressure. It's like, why is there so much pressure? I mean, there have been so many famous people and entrepreneurs that weren't successful to like the 40s and like 50s and stuff like that. And there's some people that says life is fleeting and other people's like you have all the time in the world, and it's just like, where do you stand on that? Like, that's going to tell you a lot about like what you are, like not what, but who you are and stuff like that. Because a lot of people think, oh, if I'm not married and bought a house and have kids by like before 30, like my life is over. And it's just like, no, that's definitely not true. Because life's funny. You never exactly know what life has planned for you. No, let me change that. You have designed your life probably before you came down here, and you just forget what that is. But you kind of have a general theme, and it's just like we build up all these expectations of what we think life is supposed to be based on culture and family and TV and all this other stuff. And maybe it's like, yeah, y'all don't want certain things. It's like, I personally never wanted kids. I think kids are cute and adorable, and I love that baby smell, and I love interacting with them. But for me, no, it, it was just never my thing that I wanted to have kids. Will I adopt a kid at some point? Probably not, but it's not completely out the thing picture. I don't know, but right now, no. But like I definitely could see myself like supporting um, you know, different things, but like I'm birthing a child right now with my partner. Nope, don't want it. And that's okay. And and it's interesting because this can be probably I don't know if you guys probably can't relate to this as much, but for like women, like a lot of times I've had these like conversations and people are like, oh, you'll change your mind when you're this. I'm like, no, I'm not. And they're trying to convince me that things will change. I'm like, I think I understand myself better than you do. And they're like, like, oh, your biological clock is ticking. You're gonna change your mind. It'll be worth it once you see the baby and stuff like that. And I'm just like, I think I know myself better than you. And it's just, I do appreciate their concerns and stuff like that because they think they're trying to share something with me from their experience, from their wisdom. But it's not always relevant because it's just like, I always knew I never wanted kids. And people, I mean, I think if I were to have a kid, I think the kid would be beautiful and amazing and awesome. But I just don't want to have a child. Like the whole pregnancy. No, I just don't. I've never felt motivated to that. I've had dreams where I've been pregnant. It's just like, just giant belly and indigestion the whole time. I don't know. I probably were tapping into different realities where I was pregnant and those dreams and stuff like that. But I'm just like, it's okay that you do or don't want to do things. Like, I had someone like tell me, oh, how great being a parent is and how much it changed their lives because like they're on their third child. I'm just like, that's great. But I don't want one. And literally, and it's kind of like small talk in that sense because it's like it was a situation I really couldn't leave, and it was just like, can we can you just accept the fact that I don't want kids and stop trying to convince me? And it's just like, because it's okay that I don't want kids, and it's okay that you love your kids and you think they're amazing and great, and it's just like there's nothing, but it's just like, can we please stop talking about kids, because this was a very unsolicited conversation that I was not expecting to have, and it was just very awkward because she kept trying to convince me about having kids. I'm just like, thank you. I appreciate every like your whole experience with it. It's just not something that I want. And you're going to encounter people like that. Like, they mean well and they want you to see things from their point of view, and I do see it from her point of view, but it's just like at the same time it's like, if I'm willing to, you know, appreciate, accept your opinion, and accept you should be able to do the same for me. And I feel like a lot of people also feel that they don't feel good, that they don't feel respected, is when they don't feel heard, or when like they feel dismissed and things like that. Because throughout that conversation, I just felt like I was being dismissed, because there's a whole lot of reasons why I don't have kids. And I was just sharing a few of them. I'm not sharing them all. But she's like, oh, but da, 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 da. And I'm just like, you don't have to rebuttal my points. Like, I'm just telling you my points. I'm not telling you my points to rebuttal them to help change my mind about the situation. And it's just like, when we aren't heard, it just does not make us feel good, because it's like we're not being acknowledged, like we're not being seen. And it's like, and in a sense it's like we're being invalidated in that kind of sense. And oh, who's sending me a message now? Okay, I'll look at that later. and and I just want to say that you are great and amazing, even if you are getting the reflections of people like telling you like different things, like you should do this and you should do that, and like these should be your goals instead of this, because da 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 da. I just want to tell you that it's okay. Like, it's okay that you aren't this person's version of what you should be. Like, you should be striving to be your version of who you should be. And that can change, because it's like we want different things at different times. It's like, at one point you thought you wanted to be a rock star. Then another point, maybe you wanted to be a counselor. Then maybe you wanted to be a mom. Maybe you want to be a lawyer. I mean, we want different things. And it's like we try out different things. It was one of the reasons why I had so many different jobs, because I'm just like, I don't know what I want to do. So it's just like, okay, let's try this. I'm like, no, I'm not feeling that. Okay, let's try this. Then let's try this. It can be also similar with relationships. If if you don't know what you want in a relationship, or like the type of person you want to date, go out and see, because it's like, okay, like I want a funny guy. I'm like, okay, he was too funny. Then it's like, or because you have to have like a baseline for yourself with what you want, what you need, and stuff like that. And as you're beginning to cultivate that, and really, it gives you the time to build that picture with what you really want. And I feel like when you know with what you really want and what you're striving for, what makes you really happy, you start feeling amazing and good, because it's just like you have a clearer picture. And some of the greatest stories are like things that you did not want. Because I have I have stories. I'm sure we all have stories, but it's just like sometimes you just have like the weirdest, horrible experiences, but it ends up being a great story years later. And there are some that might still sting, and that's okay. And there might still be some energy on it, some residual stuff you haven't gone through, and that's okay too. But it's like sometimes those stories help bring a brightness to like what you're doing. It's like, I'm never doing that again. And it's just important to be lighthearted with things because I feel like a lot of times we get so heavy with everything that we're doing. It's just like, let's slow down, let's just take a break and just say, I'm awesome, I'm great. And sometimes, you know, I know a lot of people do affirmations. I have trouble with affirmations because it's like I kind of feel like they can work, but I'm like, am I doing them enough? Because it's like you got to repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. I don't think I would repeat it enough for it to really, really sink in. I think I have to do them slightly differently. I don't remember exactly who I heard this from, so I don't know who to give credit. Sorry, but like what has worked for me. Well, actually, I actually was starting to do it myself, and I didn't realize what I was doing until I heard someone else say it, and that's why I'm like, oh, okay, that's why certain shifts happen. But yeah, it's about really how you identify yourself, and people have all these stories about who you are, and that was one of the main reasons for me, like why I purposely wanted to move away for college, not be in my state. I want to go where nobody knew me so I could really start over and like build a new identity for myself, because it's just like I felt like at the time, if I go to like the community college where over half of my graduating class went, I'm never going to change, because I didn't feel like I could change if all these people already knew me and had these misconceptions about me. And again, that's a limiting belief itself, but I needed that permission to go somewhere where nobody knew me and I could be more of who I am. And sometimes we do like need that reset of like, okay, I need an identity shift here, and I can't get that identity shift as the scarf is falling off of my head. That's great, it's coming off. I try to make my hair a little flatter with that. It ain't working. It's falling off. And for me, so like identity shifts work a little bit better. I'm trying to combine something with identity shifts and affirmations, because sometimes I'm conscious of of while it's happening, but sometimes in the process I don't exactly understand, because it's kind of like, it's like different things, because it's like some people have certain habits and they just can't break out of certain habits. Because I used to love fast food growing up, like I loved it because it's fast food, the marketing, McDonald's and all that stuff. But um at some point I just started seeing myself like I wanted to be a certain way, and like I knew this type of person I want to be knows that fast food isn't real food. So in my brain, fast food isn't real food. Now I'll try fast food if I'm in another country, because other countries have have more strict laws about food and chemicals and all that stuff compared to America. So yeah, so like when I was like in Japan, like I had McDonald's in Japan because I just wanted to see the difference. And it was interesting because it's like it was familiar but different at the same time. It's like it had some of the familiar taste, but I'm like, but it tastes kind of like food, but it still has that McDonald's thing. So it's just like, okay, it's like it's not something I'm gonna eat all the time. But like in America, no, we are not eating McDonald's in America. But it's just like having that appreciation of being able to at least begin to picture, see the type of person you want to be, who you can be. And it's just, and like for me, it's just having gratitude that you can at least imagine who that is. And maybe, for some people, maybe that might be a little hard right now, and that's totally okay. Like, with anything, you have to keep doing it to learn it and figuring out stuff. Maybe you found someone that has the life you want, and maybe they're on Instagram and YouTube, and you're just modeling what they're doing and like some of their thoughts, and that's okay too. I mean, it's a starting point, and it's about also just grabbing things here and there, because you don't want to necessarily put an idea or a person on a pedestal, because you'll just be let down because like they're so high above you, and you might think you might not be able to reach that, but you also are not seeing all the complexities and struggles that they're going through necessarily. And also I think it was Aaron Lyons that I heard this from, is like when you put someone on a pedestal, you're creating a bigger distance between who you are and what you want, and it's unnecessary to do that. you know I think it's like I know, maybe, hmm, words. Words are escaping me right now. Maybe instead of having this idea or person or version of yourself on a pedestal, maybe just looking at them in the mirror. That's kind of like why I like mirror work, and that's why I'm also trying to find. It's also interesting for me talking to you too, because as I'm filming, I'm looking at myself doing this. It's not perfect for me doing it with YouTube because I am nearsighted and these are not prescription glasses, so I can't fully see myself. So myself's fuzzy because everything's fuzzy compared to I'm looking at a real mirror like up close. But yeah, but that's a suggestion. Like maybe mirror work would be good for you about what you want, what you don't want, and like being able to have that appreciation. Like I was doing that instinctively as a kid because like there was like a mirror like near my bedroom, and I just like talking to the mirror. As a kid, I just did. I don't know why. I just did. That's a permission slip for me because I just like talking to a mirror when I was a kid. And you know, do whatever works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, do what works. And then if it doesn't work anymore, it's okay. I mean, and the thing is, I think what also holds people up, especially for me as I'm also reevaluating things like things that you had or used to work and they're no longer working. And it's just like, you get caught up with that. And it's sometimes you just outgrown it or you just need something a little different. And I think that's where we also get hold up too because we relied so much on this thing, this concept, this idea, this tool that once it's not working anymore because we expanded outside of that, it's just like, okay, we're out of that safety zone. It's like, what do I do? And like the panic comes in. And it's okay to feel panicked. It's okay to feel in limbo. It's okay to feel like you're losing balance because, you know, I feel like when you're moving on to something you feel is greater, you're upping your game and something else like that, you need time to readjust. I mean, it's kind of like with physics in a sense where it's just like, okay, like we're adding more water. It's like, wow, it just takes the time to, it takes a second in our reality because we live in physical reality. Things don't happen necessarily in an instant. Sometimes they can, I don't know. But it's like, it takes a second to just find your new equilibrium. You know, that calibration time is going to be a little different for everyone. And I think that's the best times, the most important times we need to hear that we're awesome, we're great, and we're amazing. Because I think in that recalibration time, we feel uneasy and it's like, is this working? It's like, oh, what am I doing? Like, is this gonna bomb? It's like, just take a deep breath and let it out. Because I need a deep breath too. And it's just like, it's okay. You're doing great. You're doing awesome. And I'm gonna leave it at that. All right. Have a good one. Bye.